Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been Rick again from Jogging and Company Associates, and today I want us to move on with the automation of cash flow. At the end of the automation, we need to have a report like what I have here on my screen. You're supposed to get this report at the end of doing full financial automation. However, first what we'll do, we'll try to create, we'll try to work on these columns for ledger, the columns for YTD actual, the columns for total last year. Then later we'll create notes to financial statements. Then we'll map them with our already created financial statements from income statement, balance sheet, and eventually cash flow. So the mapping is now what will create this column for schedule. So what we need to do first is just work on the ledger, or rather the ledger column, YTD column, total last year, and then later we'll come and create a note to financial statements. Then we'll map the note to financial statement with our cash flow statement, balance sheet, and income statement. So let's move on to let's move to where we are doing our code and see how we can go about automating cash flow statement. So from my screen here we have quite a lengthy code for cash flow automation. But before then, let me just try to comment out other parts of the code. So when we move, as we continue, we'll uncomment them out as I explain. So we'll comment out from PBT before working capital changes to this last line of code where we have level 6 underscore CF. Then this one, so the PBT level 10 underscore BS is the profit that we got from our income statement. So we created a variable called the level 10 underscore BS. So this was meant to be used in cash flow. It was meant to be used in cash flow as well as balance sheet. So if I just move up and take you back where we did our cash flow, not really cash flow but income statement, we see where we did our level 10 underscore BS. So this was cumulated income statement is where we were doing our level 10 underscore BS. So we had level 10 underscore BS is equal to PBT, and also we had level 10 underscore CF is equal to level 10 underscore P and L. Then we are dropping all these columns so that we can only remain with the columns that are necessary for creation of rather for generation of cash flow. But down there in this code we've used level 10 underscore BS. So it's the same data frame that we use for level 10 underscore CF. So nothing should worry anybody. So this is just the data frame for the profit before tax. So we are saying here PBT is equal to level 10 underscore BS, and then PBT is equal to PBT. So this is the next line of code. We are saying PBT is equal to PBT dot drop. So we are dropping these other columns. So we just want to remain with the YTD actual column, the total last year column. So before we drop these columns, let's see what we have as a level 10 underscore BS. So here we'll print in bracket level 10 underscore bs. Let me use that, and I want to run the code to see what we have. So our period is let's use period 1 to mean January. Then the financial year in review is 2017. So this is what we have as level 10 underscore bs. So these are the columns. We have period actual, period budget, YTD budget. We also have period last year, YTD last year, and then you also have ledger. So from there, rather from here, now we need to move to drop. So we are dropping the columns that you're seeing down here. Then after dropping the columns, so now we have another variable here called pbt1 is equal to pbt. So it's the same. It's just a variable assigned to the values that we had in this pbt variable. So we are saying pbt1 is equal to, or rather pbt1.log in square bracket pbt1.shape is equal to a square bracket adjustments for. So this is the category column, and then we also have another ledger column where we are saying adjustment for. And then the last two columns we have 0. So here we are trying to create a heading to heading and with the heading with values as adjustment for. So this is just a heading for the adjustment that you want to make after having our PBT before tax. Then from there, and then now we have we are saying that PBT is equal to PBT dot data frame, rather PD dot data frame. So we are trying to put put the PBT1 within a data frame. Remember, we are doing this more or less data analysis, but with the data analysis mostly we are using data frames to come up with the tabular form of data. So we must use a data frame. So we are saying PBT is equal to PD dot data frame in bracket PBT1. But before then, let's just try to print PBT1. We see what we have before we put it within a data frame. So I'll print this. Let me run this code. You see what we have. So the period is 1, and then the financial year in review is 2017. So this is now what we have as our PBT1. So this PBT1, where we have category, we have ledger, we have YTD actual, and then we also have total last year. So the PBT, where we are saying that PBT is equal to PD data frame. So this is it's rather necessary, but there's no harm. So we'll just leave it as it is. So we'll move on to the next line of code, where we are saying that depreciation and amortization. So this is a variable for depreciation and amortization. Remember, you want to adjust the profit before tax. To adjust the profit before tax, we need to add back non-monetary items, because this is a cash flow. So depreciation and amortization is a non-cash flow item, so we need to add back. So this is one of the adjustments that we need to do to the profit before tax. So we are saying that dip and amortization is equal to level 10 underscore cf dot log, and then in bracket level 10 underscore cf, where category is equal to dip and amortization. So where we got our profit before tax, within our income statement, we had a variable called level 10 underscore cf. So within that level 10 underscore cf as a data frame, we are choosing category which is equal to depreciation and amortization. So we just want the values of depreciation and amortization. So these values will be added back to profit before tax as an adjustment to that profit before tax. Then again, we also have other income and other expenses. Remember, other income and other expenses are non-operational values. Other income are income that can be generated from maybe the sale of an asset. Remember, the sale of an asset is not operation. So we are saying that where we are doing operations, maybe we are selling goods. Let's say we are selling books, or we are selling some agricultural products. So when we have an asset that has fully depreciated, but we want to sell it, we'll get revenue from the sale of that asset. Our business is not in the sale of assets. So we are doing different business as opposed to sale of a fixed asset. So when we sell an asset, we'll get revenue. So that revenue is what we call other income. So other income is those revenues that we are getting from sale of items that are not part of the business. And then this also applies to other expenses. So these are expenses that are not related to the normal operations of the business. So here we are saying that expenses is equal to PD dot data frame. So level 10 underscore cf dot log, then level 10 underscore cf. So we want the category, or rather the ledger. We want to subset data where the ledger is equal to other expenses. So the same applies to other income. So what we are doing down here, we are saying that other income is equal to PD dot data frame in bracket level 10 underscore cf dot log, then in square bracket level 10 underscore cf, and here category is equal to indirect income. So indirect income is now what we are saying, that is that income that is not related to normal operations of the business. So when I just show you what the kind of cash flow statement that we are supposed to have, so it should be in this form, where we have a profit before tax, and then we have adjustments for. So the adjustments for is what I was trying to show you here. Up here is where we have adjustment for. So we've created a row here for adjustment. So this will just be a heading for the values that we want to adjust to the profit before tax. Then we are seeing here, we are now adjusting depreciation and amortization. We are also adjusting indirect income, but we are not seeing indirect expenses here because or rather indirect expenses, or not indirect expenses but other expenses that are not part of the business operations, we had 0 values. So in that case, we don't have any row for expenses. And from there, now we have the next line of code, of which we are saying that other income So we have two variables here. We have other income 1. We also have other income 2 is equal to other income in square bracket YTD actual times a negative 1. So YTD actual is the value for the current financial year. Then this other income in bracket total last year times negative 1 is other income for the previous financial year. So again down here we are saying that other income underscore YTD, rather other income in square bracket YTD actual, then other income in square bracket total last year is equal to other income. So let me just print this data frame to see what we have. So I'm printing the data frame for other income. So the period is 1, then the financial year in review is 2017. So this is what we have as other income, indirect income. So we did multiply it by negative 1, so we have a negative value, meaning that when we add this value to the profit before tax, it should reduce the profit before tax. So we are trying to reduce the income that we received from non-operational items which are not part of the business. So from there now we need to do the coding for profit before working capital changes. So I will uncomment this code out. We will uncomment it up to where we have current assets. So let me comment this one out again. So when we talk about profit before working capital changes, as that profit that we get before we analyze the current assets, current liabilities as working capital changes. So our first line of code, we are saying that profit before profit before working capital, you're saying PBT underscore B underscore C. Here we mean here that we mean that profit before changes in working capital. So you're saying PBT before changes in working capital. So that's why it's PBT underscore B underscore C underscore in and underscore WC. So this variable should not confuse you. We are saying profit before changes in working capital is equal to PD.concat. We are concatenating PBT1 with the depreciation, other expenses, and other income. So we had our profit before tax. So this one is PBT1. We had depreciation that we need to add back to our profit before tax, and we also had other expenses and other income that we need to add back to we need to adjust to our profit before tax. Other expenses will be added back, and then other income will be netted off from profit before tax. Then the next line of code, we have profit before changes in working capital is equal to PBT, rather profit before changes in working capital dot log in bracket PBT before working capital changes is equal to PBT before changes in working capital in bracket YTD actual and total last year in square bracket dot sum. So we are adding the values of the data frame that we just concatenated up here. So we had PBT1, dip and amortization, other expenses and other income. So we want to add the numerical values of these rows, and that's why you're saying that PBT underscore B underscore C underscore in underscore WC dot log PBT before capital changes is equal to PBT before changes in working capital in square bracket YTD actual, comma, total last year dot sum. In the next line of code, we are saying that PBT before changes in working capital is equal to PBT before changes in working capital dot replace. So we are trying to replace the null values with PBT before working capital changes. Then we are resetting the index. So this other line of code, again, you are saying that profit before changes in working capital is equal to profit before changes in working capital dot drop index. So after resetting index, we'll have another index that will be unnecessary. So that index is what we are trying to drop down here. And then down here now we are trying to say that profit before working capital changes dot log in bracket profit before working capital changes dot shape. So here again we are trying to create another heading for working capital changes, such that when we print our data frame, we'll be having a heading for working capital changes and then the values behind that heading. So let me just print this data frame. We see what we have. So we'll run this code again. So the period is 1, and then the financial year in review is 2017. So this is what we have now. We have a category column, we have adjustments for. So the final result, we should where we have zeros, we'll have blank values. And then the same applies to where we have working capital changes. Where we have zeros, we'll be having blank values, just to form the heading of the working capital changes. So again, let me try to uncomment the next line of code. We see what we have. The next line of code, we want to talk about changes in current assets. Changes in current assets. So we'll uncomment that until where we have the changes of current liabilities. So here we'll just talk about current assets first, and the changes in current assets. Then later we'll talk about the changes in current liabilities. So we have a variable here. We are calling changes in current assets underscore A is equal to level 4 underscore BS dot log, level 4 underscore BS dot log, where category is equal to current assets. So this current assets underscore A, we are trying to get the changes in current assets for the current year. Remember, the cash flow is having two columns that are comparative. The first column is for the current financial year, YTD actual. and the other column is for the previous year, total last year. So the current assets A will form the values for the column for current financial year. So let me just take you to this Excel workbook where we've there's fully automated financial reports. So when I come here to balance sheet, you can see we have two columns. We have YTD actual and YTD last year. So where we are trying to get the current assets, so we are using this column A. So we are trying to get the values of this column, or rather we are trying to get the values of the first column of the cash flow. So the values of this column here, YTD last year, but the values of the first column is based on the difference between these two values, these two columns. So total last year and YTD actual, which is the column for the current year financial figures. So we want to get the values of the difference between these columns so that we can get the cash flow values of the current assets, where whether we had the inflow or outflow. So in essence, we are trying to subtract, get the difference between column B and column A. Where we have current assets, we always know that in a business will have one will like, or rather the business would like to have liquid cash. So we'll expect that when we had current assets like other than cash in hand or cash at bank, where we had current stock, deposits, loan and advances as last year, and the current year they should reduce. So we are expecting an inflow of cash from those current assets. So what we are supposed to do, where we are expecting an inflow of cash, we need to subtract the values of the current year for those current assets from the values of the previous year for the current assets. So we are assuming that the values, rather the liquid cash of the current year will increase. So the current assets values of the current year supposed to cash at bank and cash in hand will reduce. So we'll subtract the values of column A from column B with respect to the current assets other than cash at bank and cash in hand. So just to show you what I'm trying to explain, so I'm trying to subtract for closing stock, it is 807,131 minus 735,209. So the same formula applies as we go down to sundry debtors. So where you are seeing we have negative 590, 5982, 565. So this means that cash went out. So we had a lot of debtors. We sold quite a lot of our stock, or quite a lot of our items in credit. So cash went out. We never sold in cash. So there was no inflow of cash from sundry debtors. So where we have the positive values, we had an inflow of cash. Where we have the negative values, we had an outflow of cash. So the outflow of cash means, like this one now, loan advances. We were giving loan to maybe our employees, so cash was going out. So when we come back to our Python code, what we are trying to do here under current assets A, we are saying that level 4 underscore bs.log level 4 underscore bs category is equal to current assets. Then the next line of code, we are trying to say that changes in current assets is equal to changes in current assets dot drop YTD last year. So we are trying to drop YTD last year. We don't need YTD last year. So if I print these current assets, you'll see what we have. Let me just try to print current assets. Print in bracket changes in current assets A. So when I print this variable, the value of this variable, you'll see what we have as changes in current assets A. Remember, we're not finalized with the coding for changes in current assets A. So the period is 1, and then the financial year in review is 2017. So this is what we have. This is what we have, but I wanted to show you before we drop YTD last year. So let me just cut this and put it up here. And again, I will run this code. So the period is 1, financial year in review is 2017. And then now you can see we have 3 columns. We have YTD last year, total last year, and YTD actual. So what you want to do is just to get the difference between 2 columns, YTD last year and the total last year and YTD actual. So that's why in this line of code we are trying to drop in this line of code we are dropping YTD last year. So this column is being dropped because we don't need it. And then in the next line of code we are trying to say that changes in current assets A is equal to changes in current assets A in bracket changes in rather in square bracket changes current assets where ledger is not equal to cash in hand, and again changes in current assets where ledger is not equal to cash at bank. So we just want to remain with the current assets which are not in liquid cash. So again, if I come down here, just try to print what I I'll cut that and put it down here. Then I paste and print. So we are trying to do away with the liquid cash items within that data frame. So the period is 1, and then financial year in review is 2017. So now you can see now we don't have the liquid cash items. So we've done away with the liquid cash. We just want to remain with the these current assets where we have which are not liquid in cash. So the next line of code we are saying that changes in current assets 1. This is another variable, changes in current assets 1. Let me delete this printout here. Changes in current assets 1 is equal to changes in current assets underscore A total last year minus changes in current assets A YTD actual. So this was I was trying to explain in this Excel workbook. So we are trying to subtract the values of column A from column B with respect to current assets, so that we can get the values whether they are positive or negative. So whether they are negative, it means that cash was going out. When they are positive, the cash was coming in. So the next line of code, we are saying the changes in current assets underscore A YTD actual is equal to changes in current assets 1. So where we have after getting the value of changes in current assets, where we've subtracted the values of total rather YTD actual, the current year values of current assets from the values of current assets of last year. So that value is what we are calling the changes in current assets YTD actual is equal to changes in current assets 1. So now we've gotten the changes in current assets. So now we can see whether we have increase, rather inflow or an outflow. Then down here we are seeing that changes in current assets A is equal to changes in current assets A dot drop. So the YTD last year we are not interested in. We just want to remain with YTD actual. But remember now in this other line of code, the YTD actual has replaced the original YTD YTD actual before we had the difference. So after getting the difference is now that difference is what now we are saying is the value of YTD actual. So down here we are saying that changes in current assets A is equal to changes in current assets A dot drop total last year. Then now we can also print changes in current assets A. We see what we have. So again I will run this code. So the financial year review is still 2017. So now this is what we have as changes in current assets with respect to the current financial year. But remember, the cash flow is having two columns which are comparative in nature. So first we've just done changes in current assets A. So now we need to get the changes in current assets B. So the changes in current assets B will be that column where we have total last year. So we want to get the cash flow or cash, the inflow or outflow of the previous financial year, and that those values will form part of this column for total last year. So that's why down here we are saying that we are saying concatenating data in previous years. So first we are saying data underscore previous year 1. So we have previous year 1 and previous year 2. So like now we have let's assume that this current financial year is 2017. So the previous financial year 1 will be 2016, and the previous financial year 2 will be 2015. So for us to get the cash inflow or cash outflow of the previous financial year, it means that we'll get the difference of the values of the year 2015 and the values the year 2015 of the current assets within those years. So for example, now I can come back here and try to explain that. So this, let's assume that this is column A is 2017, then column B is 2018. So rather column B is 2016. So when we are doing the cash flow, so these two columns, let's assume that these two columns are columns for cash flow. Let me try to use a better to use this. So these two columns are columns for cash flow, of which the first column here is for the current financial year, and then the next column is for the previous financial year. So for us to get the values of inflow and outflow for the previous financial year, we must have the year 2016 and the year 2015. So the year 2016 and the year 2015, when we get the difference, we'll be getting the inflow or outflow of the cash flow within the year 2016. So let me just take you back to where we are doing our code. So again, here we are saying that data underscore previous year 1 is equal to pg.data frame in bracket data underscore previous year 1 underscore 1. So we are just trying to put the subset of data where the financial year is the current year minus 1, which is previous year underscore previous year 1 underscore input. And then after putting that in a data frame, we are trying to change again the column, the numerical column where we have values to YTD actual. So this is the YTD actual for the previous year as opposed to the current year. Remember, now we are doing the previous year inflow or outflow in terms of cash. So before then, let me just try to print data underscore PR1 underscore 1. So let me comment out this. So before what happens, before we do this code, we must understand how accounting, rather how to generate the financial statements, whether it is balance sheet, income statement, or cash flow. So this is what we are doing for cash flow. The coding for cash flow, you must know how the cash flow is generated from the trial balance for both comparative figures where we have 2 years being compared together. So here let me just say period is 1, then the financial here in review is 2017. So this is the data that we have for data underscore 1. Okay, this data underscore 1. As you can see, we have financial year, period, and then category, and then ledger. We have sub ledger, and then we also have value. Okay, so when I was talking about the previous year underscore 1, you've seen I've entered period 1, and then the financial year in review is I'm putting 2017, but when I put financial year in review 2017, the data frame that is coming out is the data frame for 2016. The coding is has been done in such a way that when you want to get the previous years, you just use this data underscore previous year 1. I mean it is 20. Again, we are saying the next line of code, we are saying that data underscore previous year 1 is equal to data underscore previous year 1 dot rename columns value is equal to YTD actual. So the value here, down here, the value we are renaming this column to a YTD actual to mean it is the YTD actual for the previous year. And then data underscore previous year 2. So we had previous year 1 and previous year 2. So previous year 2 should be the year 2015. And then we are saying data underscore data underscore previous year 2 is equal to data underscore cf.log. Data underscore financial year is equal to previous year 2 underscore input. So this is like 2017 minus 2. 2017 minus 2 will be 2015. But when you check on this, let me just try to open the Excel workbook where we are reading the Excel file. So here you see we have this is our trial balance, and these are our financial years. So we have 2017, 2016, and 2018. We don't have 2015. So let's assume that the 2015 we did not have the business was not operating in 2015. It only started operating in 2016. So we cannot have the data for year 2015. But our current financial year is 2017. So the previous year should be 2016, and the previous year too should be 2015, of which we don't have that. So let me take you back to where we are doing our code so we can get what I'm trying to explain. So we are saying that data underscore PR1 is equal to data underscore PR1, data underscore PR2 is equal to data underscore cf.log. Data underscore cf financial year is equal to previous year 2 underscore input. So the previous year 2 year, in this case, where we have our financial year, our current financial year is 2017, and the previous financial year 2 will be 2015. Then we are saying dot rename columns value is equal to total last year. And then down here we are trying to say that if the data underscore previous year 2 is none, meaning now we don't have year 2015. If year 2015 is not there, what happens? If data underscore previous year 2 is none, then we need to create a blank data frame. So we are saying that data underscore previous year 2 is equal to pd.data frame in bracket data is equal to data underscore previous year 2, then columns is equal to category, ledger, sub ledger, and total last year. So if I come down here and try to print previous year, data under previous year, so print bracket data previous year 2. So we are supposed to get nothing because in 2015 we don't have any data. So I will run this code. Then the financial, the period in review is period 1, and then the financial year in review is 2017. Remember, in our Excel workbook, we only have 2017, 2016, and 2018. We don't have 2015. But now here we are trying to print data underscore previous year 2, which is 2015. So we want to see what we'll get when we try to print what we don't have. So we'll enter. So here you can see we don't have anything, just have a blank and empty data frame. You can see here we are having empty data frame. So that's why down here we are trying to say that if let me delete this. If data underscore previous year is none, we need to create a data frame. So we are saying that data underscore previous year 2 is equal to pd.data frame then data is equal to data is equal to data underscore previous year 1 underscore 2, and then columns you have category, ledger, sub ledger, and total last year. So this is just a blank data frame. So again, now we are saying else past. We are saying else past. So here we are trying to say that if it is there, we don't need to create a blank data frame. We'll just pass. So else pass is a situation where the previous year 2 is existing. So we'll just pass. We'll not create a blank data frame as we created up here. And then down here we are saying that data underscore previous year 1 and 2. So we want to concatenate the two data frames, previous year 1 and previous year 2. So we want to concatenate data frame for 2016, data frame for 2015. So previous data underscore previous year 1 and 2 is equal to pd.concat data underscore previous year 1, data underscore previous year 2. Ignore index is equal to true, sort is equal to false. Then data underscore previous year 1 and 2 is equal to data underscore previous year under 2 dot drop. So we are dropping financial year, we are dropping period, we are dropping sub ledger, where axis is equal to 1. But before then, let me just try to print the two concatenated data frames. So print in bracket data underscore previous year 1 and 2, and let's run that code. The period is 1, and then the financial year review is 2017. So you can see now what we have. So the current financial year is 2017, but we are having data frame for both year 2015 and year 2016. For the year 2015, we don't have values, and the year 2016 is what you can see here. We have financial year and period, and then total last year, which is the values for year 2015, where we have 0 values. We have null values. So down here again, we are trying to drop these other columns. We are dropping columns for ledger, we are dropping columns for period, then we are also dropping columns for financial year. So let me just delete this. Then we are saying that data underscore previous year 1 and 2 is equal to data underscore previous year 1 and 2 dot drop financial year period sub ledger is equal to 1, and then data underscore previous year 1 and 2 is equal to data underscore previous year 1 and 2 dot replace. We are replacing the null values down here with zeros, and then data underscore previous year 1 and 2 is equal to data underscore previous year 1 and 2 dot log in square bracket data underscore previous year 1 and 2 category is equal to current assets. So we want to get the current assets from this data frame. So before then, let me just try to print. Let me print data underscore previous year 1 and 2. Period 1, 2017. So this is what now we have. Now we have total last year, YTD actual, and then we have these two columns for category and ledger. But now we are trying to get the subset of data where we have the current assets. Remember, whatever we are trying to get is the values for inflow or outflow for cash flow for the previous year. But assuming now we are in the year 2016, and these are the current assets, or rather the data values. So we need to get the inflow and outflow of cash flow within year 2016. So we'll get the difference between total last year and YTD actual, of which YTD actual is the year 2016, and total last year is the year 2015, of which we don't have values. So down here again, now let's see what we need to do. So down here we are saying that data underscore previous year 1 and previous year 2 underscore current assets is equal to data underscore previous year 1, previous year 2, in bracket data underscore previous year 1 and year 2, where ledger is not cash in hand and ledger is not cash at bank. So we want to do away with the liquid cash and purely want to remain with current assets, of which the current assets will have stock, will have debtors, will have maybe loans and advances. So let's see what we have as current underscore, rather data underscore previous year 1 and 2 underscore CA to mean current assets. So print in bracket data underscore previous year 1 and 2 I want this one for current assets underscore previous year 1 underscore. Let me just make work easier for me. Let me print this inside here. This. So this is what I want to print. I want us to see what we have as current assets of previous year 1 and previous year 2, but I'm having an error, don't know from where. Let me see where the error is coming from. The error was under inspection, so it has disappeared. So let's see what we have as current assets for previous years. So the period is 1, financial year in reviews 2017. So these are our current assets, and of which we have closing stock, we have sundry debtors, and we have loan and advances, deposits, prepayments. So what we need to do is to get the difference between these two columns, of which the first column is for 2016 and the second column is for 2015. So we need to get the difference to get the inflows or outflows of cash. So that's why down here we are saying that changes in current assets B. So this is for previous years. You want to get the inflows and outflows. Remember, we had done the changes in current assets underscore A, which is up here, this one here. So now we are dealing with changes in current assets underscore B. So we are saying changes in current assets underscore B is equal to data underscore previous year 1 and 2 underscore CA. CA to mean current assets dot group by category ledger dot sum. So we are summing the groups. So we are grouping these current assets by ledger, by and by category. That we are summing the grouped data. Then we are resetting index. Then again we are saying changes in current assets underscore assets 2 is equal to changes in assets changes in current assets underscore B total last year minus changes in current assets underscore B actual YTD actual. We are subtracting the values of YTD actual from total last year, but we know that total last year we have 0 values, so we'll get negative values showing that cash went out. So we are having down here changes in current assets underscore B in bracket total last year is equal to changes in current assets 2. So the changes in current assets 2 here is what we are referencing down here. We are seeing the changes in current assets B in bracket total last year is equal to changes in current assets 2. So changes in current assets B is equal to changes in current assets B drop YTD actual. So we want to have a YTD actual. So in the previous year, the inflow should be total last year, and then in the current year, the inflow should be total rather YTD actual. That's why in current assets A, changes in current assets A, we dropped total last year because we were doing away with the values of last year, but we wanted the values of the current year. Then in this other variable where we have current assets underscore B, we are doing away with these are the values of current year because when after finishing getting our current assets, the inflow and the outflow, those values should be for the previous year. So let's print what we have here as changes in current assets B. So here you have one financial year 2017. So this is what we have. So these are the cash inflow or cash outflow for the previous year 2016. So this we need to concatenate with the cash inflow or cash outflow for the current financial year 2017. So down here you can see we are saying that concatenating changes in current assets, or rather changes in current assets for current year and previous year. So this should be for changes in current assets, changes in assets for current and previous, current and previous years. So down here we are saying that changes in current assets is equal to pd.concat changes in current assets underscore A, then changes in current assets underscore B. We want to concatenate the two data frames such that we'll have two columns for YTD actual and total last year. So YTD actual will be the year 2017 as a financial year in review, and then total last year will be meant for the values for financial year 2016. So changes in current assets is equal to changes in current assets dot group by. We want to group by category, ledger, then sort is equal to false. We also want to reset index. So let's print what we have as now changes in current assets. the financial year reviews 2017. So now we check down here, we have so this the upper data frame here was for changes in the current assets for the previous year. So let me just put this other one up here, changes in current assets. So let me put this, let me bring that one again also on board. So we have we want to see 3 data frames for current year, previous year, and those 2 years combined. So the financial year in views is 2017. So now you can see that the first data frame is for the cash flow for the assets for the current financial year, the year 2017, and we are following with the previous financial year, the year 2016, which is here. And then lastly we have the concatenation of the 2 data frames, these ones here. So now we have our YTD actual to mean current financial year, and then the total last year to mean the year 2016. So now we are done with the changes in our current assets. So now we want to move to changes in current liabilities. So changes in current liabilities should be our next. So the same principle that we used in changes in current assets is the same principle that we'll be using in changes in current liabilities. So let me just uncomment out the changes in current liabilities code, and I'll leave it where we have investing activities. So this one from here will comment out. So let's talk about changes in current liabilities. So the same principle that we used in changes in current assets is the same principle that we are trying to use in changes in current liabilities. So this will move quite faster because it's the same principle. So it's just a repeat but in the opposite direction, because here now we are dealing with the liabilities as opposed to current assets. So we are saying changes in current liabilities A is equal to level 4 underscore BS dot log level 4 underscore BS category is equal to current liabilities. Then down here we are trying to say that changes in current liabilities A, let me delete this one not to confuse. Changes in current asset liabilities A is equal to changes, or rather changes in current liabilities A is equal to changes in current liabilities A in square bracket, changes in current liabilities again in square bracket, ledger is equal to, rather ledger is not equal to bank overdraft, and ledger is not equal to cash at bank. So we are selecting current liabilities, but we are not dealing with a bank overdraft or cash at bank. So that's why we are using the not equal to operands. Then changes in current liabilities 1 is equal to changes in current liabilities A in bracket YTD actual minus changes in current liabilities total last year. Remember, in current assets it was total last year minus YTD actual. So let me just try to explain that with the Excel workbook. So what we are trying to do that when now we come to liabilities, so we are assuming that cash will always be inflowing. When cash is inflowing, it means that our liabilities will increase. but our liquid cash will also increase. Like now we have taxes, so when we assume that taxes will increase, it means that column A will be higher than the values of column A in terms of current liabilities will be higher than the values of column B in terms of liabilities. So we'll be subtracting column B from column A. So when you check down here, I have column B. I have column A minus column B. So we are assuming that cash will be inflowing, meaning that when it is suppliers, they will give us goods, but we will not have paid them. When it is taxes, we will not have paid the taxes. So the liabilities will increase, and we'll be having more cash inflow. So we need to net off the higher values from rather the lower values from the higher values. So we are subtracting column B from column A to ascertain whether liabilities increased or liabilities reduced. So in a case where liabilities increased, it means that cash came in. We did not use cash. We bought goods from suppliers, but we did not pay. So the value of suppliers increased. So we'll be having a negative value. Rather, we'll be having a positive value because we did not pay the suppliers. The same applies to these other current liabilities like provisions and taxes. So we are subtracting column B from column A. So where we have a negative, it means that we paid the suppliers. Where we have a positive value, it means that the supplier supplied more, but we did not pay. So in this case, we have increase in cash, meaning that the suppliers of the current liabilities increased as opposed to decreasing when we paid. So when we go back to our Python code, let me just take you to the Python code. So we are saying that current changes in current liabilities is equal to changes in current liabilities YTD actual. So YTD actual is the year 2016, rather the year 2017 minus changes in current liabilities total last year. So total last year is the column for the year 2017, of which the suppliers values, the value for suppliers are compared to the year 2017 is less. So when we subtract column B from column A, or total last year, we subtract from YTD actual to get the value of inflow or outflow. So where the YTD actual is less than total last year, it means cash went out, so we'll be having the negative values. So changes in current liabilities A, this value here is equal to changes in current liabilities 1. So this was the initial variable where we are getting the difference. So that difference is what now we are making it to be equivalent to YTD actual. In short, we are trying to change the values of the YTD actual column as opposed to what we had initially. So changes in current assets A is equal to changes in current liabilities dot drop total last year. So we are dropping this column, and then down here now we can see we can print changes in current liabilities A. You see what we have. So I will run this code. So again, the current financial year is the year 2017. So now this is what we have as changes in current financial year. It means that with these other current liabilities where we had duties and taxes provisions, there were no changes. So if you subtract these values, you'll get 0. But where we have a negative value, it means that cash went out, we paid the supplier. So down here again, we are trying to say that concatenating data in previous year. So the same principle that we applied in current assets is the same principle that we are trying to apply down here in liabilities. So we are saying data underscore previous year 1 underscore liabilities is equal to data underscore cf.log, data underscore cf.log. Then the financial year is equal to previous year 1. So this is previous year 1. Then data underscore previous year 1 underscore liabilities is equal to data underscore previous year 1 underscore liabilities dot rename. We are renaming the columns as value is being renamed to YTD actual. So the YTD actual is for the current financial year. But remember, we are doing this for the previous year. For the current year is what we've just done up here, which is changes in current liabilities A. So down here we are assuming we are dealing with the year 2016. So the value here is being changed to YTD actual. Then after getting the values, or rather the negative values, or rather not the negative values, but the inflows or outflows, will relabel this column as YTD total last year. So we are saying data underscore year 1 underscore L, rather underscore liabilities is equal to data underscore year 1 or pre-1 underscore liabilities dot rename columns value is renamed to YTD actual. And the next line of code, we are saying that data underscore previous year 2 underscore liabilities is equal to data underscore cf dot log in square bracket data underscore cf. The financial year is equal to previous year 2, which is pre underscore year 2 underscore input. So this one is 2016 minus 2, mean it's 2015. Then we are renaming columns is equal to value is being renamed to total last year. So you want to have two columns where we have 2016 and 2015. And then down here we are saying that if data underscore previous year 2 underscore liability is none, meaning when the data values for the year 2015 is not there, then we need to create a blank data frame. So down here we are saying that data underscore previous year 2 underscore liabilities is equal to pd.data frame. So we are creating a blank data frame down here. So the columns is category, ledger, and total last year. Else, if the data is available for previous year 2, meaning the data for the year 2015, then we just need to do nothing, so we'll pass. So down here you're saying data underscore previous year 1 underscore liabilities 1 and 2, so meaning year 1 and 2 is equal to pd.concat data underscore previous year 1 underscore liabilities data underscore previous year 1 and the previous year 2 underscore liabilities. Index is equal to true, so it is false. So here we are trying to concatenate the two data frames for the year 2015 and the year 2016. So the year 2015 is this data underscore previous year 1, rather data underscore pre-1 underscore 2. So this one is for 2015, and this other one is for the year 2016. So we are concatenating the two data frames so that we can have two comparative columns. So down here we are saying data underscore previous year 1 and 2 for liabilities is equal to data underscore previous year 1 and 2. Then we are dropping financial year, period, and sub ledger axis is equal to 1. So before we drop, let me just try to print to see what we have as print in brackets data. So this is what I want to print. Let me run this code to see what we have. Need to comment out this. So the period is 1, financial year interview is 2017. So this should be 2017. So here we are having a blank data frame. Okay. And let me run this code again. It's giving me what I want. It printed 017 as opposed to the year 2017. So let me run the code again. Here is 1, 2017. So this is what we have as our data frame for the periods 2016 and 2015. So 2015 you are having the null values. And see total last year we have null values as and the values within that column. So what I need to do, so let me again do away with this printout. So we are saying again down here that data underscore previous year 1 and 2 for liabilities is equal to data underscore previous year 1 and 2 dot replace. So we are replacing the null values with 0. And then down here we are saying that data underscore previous year 1 and 2 is equal to data underscore previous year 1 and 2 dot log in square bracket data underscore previous year 1 and 2 category is equal to current liabilities. So here we're just doing the current liabilities, and then down here we're saying that data underscore previous year 1 underscore current liabilities is equal to data underscore previous year 1 and 2 data underscore in square bracket data underscore previous year 1 and 2 where the ledger is not bank overdraft, and again where the ledger is not cash at bank. So we only want current liabilities where which are not bank overdraft or cash at bank. And then down here we are seeing changes in current liabilities B. So this is the second part of the current liabilities. So now we want to get the second column for the year 2016. Remember our current financial year is 2017. And the current liabilities A we have gotten for the current financial year 2017. So the current financial year 20 is rather the previous financial year 2016, of which we are trying to get the changes in current liabilities B, is where we are saying that data underscore previous year 1 and 2 underscore CL dot group by. So you want to group by category ledger, and then we are summing the group data and the group data values. Again, changes in current liabilities changes in current liabilities 2 is equal to changes in current liabilities underscore B YTD actual minus changes in current liabilities B total last year. So we are getting the difference between the year 2015 and the year 2016. Okay, we are subtracting the values of year 2015 from the year 2016. So the assumption here is that there is inflow of cash. So the debtors, rather the current liabilities, are increasing. So this other line of code, we are saying that changes in current liabilities changes in current liabilities underscore B in bracket, in square bracket, total last year is equal to changes in current liabilities too. So the values that we've gotten up here is what we are trying to assign to the changes in current liabilities B. In square bracket, total last year, the changes in current liabilities B is equal to changes in current liabilities B dot drop. So we are dropping the YTD actual. Remember, the YTD actual was meant for the current year, but the current year we are not dealing with. We want for the previous year. So the previous year is what we are calling the total last year. But the values that we are assigning to total last year are the difference that we've gotten up here for the YTD actual and total last year. So let's print total last year, rather changes in current liabilities B, before we see the concatenation of the two. So the period, I'll still use period 1, and the financial year in review is 2017. So this is what we have as changes in current liabilities for the year 2016, or the previous year, as you may like. So down here again, we are trying to concatenate the current and the previous years. So we are concatenating the changes in current liabilities for the current year and the previous year. So we are saying that changes in current liabilities, so this code down here is equal to pd.concat changes in current liabilities A, comma, changes in current liabilities B, then ignore index is equal to true, sort is equal to false. We don't want to sort the index values, rather we don't want to sort the rows. And then down here we are saying that changes in current liabilities is equal to changes in current liabilities dot group by. So we want to group by category and ledger. So this is what we are doing down here. We are grouping by category and ledger. And then when we come down now, let's see what we have as changes in current liabilities. So let me just print this. So the period is 1, financial year review 2017. So this is what we have as changes in current liabilities, but now we'll drop YTD last year because we are only dealing with the YTD actual and total last year. So down here you'll see we are saying that changes in working capital is equal to pd.concat. So this YTD last year, I think it has been, I did drop it down somewhere. Yeah, it is down here. So we are saying changes in working capital is equal to pd.concat changes in current assets and changes in current liabilities. Changes in current in working capital log net working changes. The net working capital changes is equal to changes in working capital in a double square bracket YTD actual and total last year. So we are summing the values of these two columns, YTD last year and YTD actual, rather YTD actual and total last year. And then down here changes in current in working capital, not current assets but working capital. Here we are saying that changes in working capital is equal to changes in working capital dot replace. So we are replacing the null values with net working changes in working capital, then reset index, then changes in working capital is equal to the value here is equal to changes in working capital dot drop. We are dropping index, axis is equal to 1. Before then, let me just try to print changes in working capital. We see what we have. So here we'll print in bracket changes working capital using working. Let's run this code. So the financial year, or the period is 1, then the financial year review is 2017. So this is what we have as changes in working capital. So we have YTD actual. So YTD last year we need to drop. Let me just out this. And then let me run this code again. Let's make it more clearer. So the period is 1, then financial year review is 2017. So this is what we have as changes in working capital. So we need to drop our YTD last year. This is a column that is unnecessary. So let me bring this one down. And from there now we are saying that changes, rather down here we are trying to concatenate concatenating cash flow from PBT before working capital changes with net cash from changes in working capital. So we had after adjusting the profit before tax, we need now to concatenate the values of profit before tax with the changes in working capital. So that's why down here we are saying that level 1 underscore CF mean cash flow is equal to PD.concat. So we are concatenating the PBT before changes in working capital. Then we are concatenating that with the changes in working capital. So let me just print level 1 underscore CF. We see what we have now. So let me run this code again. So again here we've dropped the YTD last year. The period is 1, and then the financial year in review is 2017. So here you can see we have now the cash flow statement up to changes in working capital. So when you check within these two columns for category and ledger, you can see here we have adjustment for. So this will be our heading for adjustment for profit before tax. And then down here we have profit before changes in working capital. Then down here we also have changes in working capital. So the changes in working capital here, this one also will be our heading. So these two will be our heading. Then down here we have changes in current assets, of which we have the line items for current assets. And then we have current assets as well. So this is also another heading. Then after having current assets, we have the individual current assets changes. Then down here we also have current liabilities, which is the heading for individual current liability changes. Then down here now we have net changes in working capital. Then from there now need to move to investing activities. So investing activities is where now we are trying to buy or sell assets. So when we go to investing activities and financing activities, let me just take you back to Excel workbook again. So here we have the asset changes. So the asset changes here is where we are trying to buy or sell assets. So this Excel will be read with a Python code, and we have a variable for the same, which is data underscore assets. So for the data underscore assets, and then from the data underscore assets is when now we are trying to have a code that will get the changes in investing activities. We are saying level 1 underscore cf dot log under in bracket level 1 underscore cf dot shape. So here we are trying to add a heading for investing activities. So the first column is category, the second column is ledger, and the two column is for YTD actual total last year. And then we are saying asset underscore changes is equal to pd.data frame set data. Remember we had created a variable for asset data after reading this Excel workbook where we have asset changes. So this Excel workbook or this Excel sheet was read with our Python code, of which we came up with a variable called set data. So within asset data we are saying that asset changes is equal to pd.data frame in bracket asset data dot drop. So we are dropping the sub ledger and YTD last year, and then we are grouping by category ledger, then we are summing the group data, and then we are setting index. So before I move to next stage, let me just try to print set data. You see what we have. Print in bracket asset set data. So this one I will print out, then I will run this code. So the period is one in the financial year reviews 2017, and then now this is what we have as this is what we are having as set data for the period 1. So period 1 here is January 2017. So when we go to this Excel workbook, and then I choose the period 2017, let me just take you back to the Python code. So we have YTD actual and total last year. So total last year is the year 2016, and year to date YTD last year we have 0 values, and then YTD actual, which is year 2017, we have 0 values. So when I take you back to this Excel workbook, so the year 2017, when I choose the period for January, when I choose January, there's no January, so it means that within the period of January we have 0 values, which has been expressed here in YTD actual and YTD last year. There were no January values. Then when you go to YTD total, so this one total last year, so total last year will be picking because we're in year 2017, total last year will be the year 2016. So when I choose the year 2016, you can see the values that we have for the year 2016. So these are the assets that we bought. So compared to what we have in our code, the values are correct. So let's move on to the next line of code. We are saying that asset changes.log in square bracket net investing activity changes is equal to asset changes in double square bracket YTD actual total last year dot sum. So we want to get the sum values of the numerical columns for asset changes. Then down here we are trying to say that asset changes is equal to asset changes dot replace. So we are replacing the null values with net investing changes dot reset index. Then we are dropping the index again. Then now we have a level 2 CF. So level 2 CF is a concatenation of level 1 CF and asset changes. So let's print level 2 CF, see what we have. So again I will print out this. Let's print level 2 CF. So the period is 1, financial year reviews 2017. So this is what we have as level 2 CF. So we have our PBT before PVT, we have adjustments, then we have depreciation and all that. We have profit before working capital changes. It's going down up to where we have investing activity changes, of which here we have in the current financial year, which is the year 2017, we have 0 values because we did not buy or sell any assets. But the previous financial year we have values, of which we have 34,583.48, which is negative value. So let's move on with the financial with the financing activities. Again I will uncomment that up to where we have net increase in cash. So with the financing activities. This is now where we are getting monies from outside the business. Maybe we are getting loan, where maybe we floated some shares that we want to get money from, or maybe you are getting money from maybe currency exchange. So when it comes to this loan and investment sheet, we have here debt, we have share capital, we have forex exchange, we have a loan, we have debt repayment. So when debt repayment, it would mean that the money is going out. So we'll be having a net, rather negative cash, meaning cash outflow. So when we receive loan, share capital, forex exchange receipts, so this will be an inflow. So let's see what we have as our code for financing activities. So here we are saying that level 2 underscore cf.log in square bracket level 2 underscore cf dot shape. Just a moment. So in this one you're saying that level 2 underscore cf.log level 2 underscore cf dot shape is equal to financing activities. So this is the first column. This other one is for ledger column, and the 2 zeros for YTD actual and total last year. And then down here we are saying, so let me delete this. This one is misleading. We are saying financing activity is equal to pd.data frame in bracket loan and investments underscore data dot drop sub ledger. We are dropping YTD last year and axis is equal to 1. Then we are grouping by category ledger and resetting the index. So we had a variable for loan underscore invest underscore data, which was a variable of which the values were coming from this Excel sheet for the loan and investments. So remember the variables that we had created when we started earlier are the variables now that we are doing as we move on with our coding. So this is a loan underscore invest underscore data variable, of which it has values for loan and investments. So down here we are saying that financing changes underscore dot log is in square bracket net financing activity changes is equal to financing underscore changes. In double square bracket we have YTD actual and total last year. So we are getting the values which we bought, rather we received the money from the current financial year and last year. And then we are saying that financing changes is equal to financing changes dot replace. We are replacing the null values with the net financing changes and dot reset index. Then again we are dropping the index, axis is equal to 1. Then down here now we have level 3 CF. So level 3 CF we are trying to concatenate level 2 CF with financing changes. So let's print level 3 CF, we see what we have. So here remember we are just reading this Excel workbook with Python code, and we are extracting the values from this Excel workbook. So where the financial year is 2016, rather the current financial year is 2017. So the values for the year 2017 will be under actual, rather YTD actual, and the values for the year 2016 will be under total last year. But remember, with the total last year, we are still working with the periods. But the period, remember, we are saying with the period we are using less than or equal to. So where we bought assets and we have rather we are in period, maybe period 4, which is April, and we want to get the values that we bought for assets up that period. We're saying we had a variable where we are saying that the year, rather the period is equal to less than or equal to, the period is less than or equal to period value. So it will be period 4. So the period number will be less than or equal to period 4, such that we can get all the values of assets that were bought from January up to April. So back to our code. Now we want to print level 3 CF. So level 3 CF. So the period is 1, the financial year review is 2017 12. So now this is what we have. So we have YTD actual. So these are the values, and now we have net financing changes. For the current financial year, we have forex, long-term loan we did not receive, share capital issuance we had 0. And then when you go to the previous year, share capital was 10,938, and long-term loan we have 653, 983. So these are the inflow and outflow of cash up to financing activities. So the next line of code, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to get the net increase in cash and cash equivalent. So the net increase in cash and cash, rather the net increase in cash should just be the summation of profit before working capital changes. Then we also need to sum it with the net working capital changes. Then we need to sum it with the investing activities, the net cash from investing activities. Then we also need to sum it with the net cash from financing activities. Then from there now we'll get the net increase in cash and cash equivalents. So now we have this line of codes where we are saying that net increase in cash, we have adjusted PBT is equal to level 3 CF.log. Level 3 CF category is equal to PBT before working capital changes. So this subset of data frame is coming from level 3 underscore CF. And then we also have working capital net cash, which is equal to level 3 underscore CF dot log. Level 3 underscore CF category is equal to net working capital changes. Same applies to investing activity net cash is equal to level 3 underscore CF dot log. Then level 3 underscore CF category is equal to net investing changes in investing. And then we have financing net changes in cash is equal to level 3 underscore CF dot log. Level 3 underscore CF dot rather in square bracket category is equal to net financing activities. Remember, whatever we are trying to subset here, all of them, we have them down here, we have them within this data frame. So this data frame is the level 3 underscore CF. So what we are trying to get as net changes in cash. So we are just trying to, we want to add these figures here, profit before working capital changes. Then we want to add with net working capital changes. Then again we'll add that to net investing activities. Then again we'll add to net financing activities. So all these 5 should give us the net increase in cash. So let's move down here. So down here we are saying that net increase in cash is equal to pg.concat adjusted PBT working net cash. This is working capital net cash, investing activity net cash, then the financing activities net cash. So we want to add this the values of this the numerical values of this data frame. We need to add together to get the total increase in net cash. So down here we are saying that net cash increase dot log in square bracket net cash increase is equal to net cash increase in double square bracket YTD actual comma then total last year. So we are summing the numerical values within that data frame, and then you are saying that net increase in cash to the next data frame is equal to net cash increase dot replace. So we are trying to replace the null values with the net increase in cash. So net increase in cash is equal to net cash increase dot tail. So we just want to get the tailing amount, rather the total amount of the concatenated data frames. So let me just print here what we have in bracket net increase in cash or net cash increase. So let me run this code. So what happened? Level 6EF. Okay, so let me just try to comment out here, and I will run the code again. So the period will be period 1. So we have quite a lengthy code. Period 1 in the year 2017. So you can see now what we have as the concatenated data frames for PBT, net working capital changes, net investing changes, net financing changes, and the net cash increase. So the net cash increase down here for the YTD actual is 5782. This other one is 624,204. So this one is for the previous year, or rather the last year. So now what we need to do again is to get this last row here. So this last row is what you need to concatenate to the level 3 underscore CF. So the level 3 underscore CF is the previous data frame. So we are saying that net increase in cash is equal to net cash increase dot tail. So this one is this value down here. This value. A minute. So this is the value that we are looking for when we use net cash increase dot tail. And down here we are saying that level 4 underscore CF is equal to pg.concat. So we want to concatenate level 3 underscore CF with net cash increase, which is this value down here. Axis is equal to 0. We are concatenating vertically, and again we are resetting the index. So then level 4 underscore CF is equal to level 4 underscore CF dot drop index. After resetting the index here, we are dropping the unnecessary index down here, and now we can print level 4 underscore CF. we see what we have. So this is the cash flow up to a net increase in cash. In 2017. So this is what we have as net increase in cash for both the current period and the previous period. Then from here now we need to work on the increase in cash and cash equivalent. So what I will do, I will uncomment from here. So cash at the beginning of the period, then I will move up to where we have level 6, level 5 underscore CF. So let me bring it down here. So we'll comment out this other closing cash balances. Then down here now, let's move on with the cash at the beginning of the period. So again, I will comment out this. So cash at the beginning of the period. So we are saying that cash at the start. So cash at the start underscore data 1 is equal to data underscore CF dot log in square bracket data underscore CF financial year is equal to previous year 1. So this is the year 20, assuming that the current financial year is 2017. So the previous year 1 will be 2016. And then we are saying also the data underscore CF, the period should be period 12. So when the financial year is running from January to December, the opening balances of the cash flow will be the closing balances of the previous year, which is the closing balance of cash in the period 12. That's why we are saying that cash underscore data cash at start is equal to data underscore CF dot log underscore CF dot log financial year is equal to previous year 1 underscore input and data underscore CF is equal to in bracket period is equal to 12. So again we are saying that opening cash balance, so print cash at start. So when I print so this will not give a proper view of what this code is all about, but opening cash balance. So we are saying that cash at start underscore data 1 is equal to cash at start underscore data 1. So we want to rename the columns value into YTD actual. So the YTD actual is for the current financial year. Then cash underscore at start underscore data 2 is equal to data underscore CF dot log in square bracket data underscore CF financial year is equal to previous year 2. Now we want to have the opening balances for both comparative years. So we have 2017. So the opening balance for the year 2017 is the closing balance of the year 2016, and the opening balance for the year 2016 as a comparative column or comparative year is the closing balance for the year 2015. Where we have 2015 is not having values, it means that the opening balance for the year 2016 will be 0. So cash at start underscore data data 2 is equal to cash start underscore data 2 dot rename. So we are renaming the numerical column value into total last year. And then down here we are saying that cash underscore data is equal to pd dot data frame in bracket pd dot concat. So we want to concatenate two data frames. So two data frame is for cash data 1 and cash data 2, and cash data 1 is for current financial year, cash data 2 is for the previous financial year. But remember, these are opening balances, where cash data 1 is for the closing balance for the year 2016, and the cash underscore data 2 is for the closing balance for the year 2015. Then cash underscore data 1 is equal to cash underscore data dot drop. We are dropping financial year, we are dropping period, and also we are dropping ledger. And then before then, let me just try to show you what we have as cash data, cash underscore data. So let me print in bracket cash underscore data. So the period is 1, the financial year in review is 2017. So this is what we have as the data for cash underscore data. So the actual YTD actual, which is for the period 2017. So this is what we have. The total last year, which is 2015. Remember, 2015 we don't have the data values, so here we are just having the null values. So when we come down here and say that cash underscore dot log, cash underscore data dot log, in square bracket cash and cash equivalent at start is equal to cash underscore data YTD actual, and then a total last year dot sum. So we are summing the values, but I think I've jumped another code. I've jumped some lines of code, so we were here. So here we are saying that cash underscore data is equal to cash underscore data in square bracket cash underscore data, and rather ledger is equal to cash at bank. So we are trying to come up with a subset of data where the ledger is cash at bank or ledger is equal to cash in hand, and also the ledger can be bank overdraft. So where we have a bank overdraft, which means that we are having a negative cash, we'll pick those values. And then we also want to pick cash at bank, and then we also want to pick cash in hand. So all these values we want to pick as cash and opening cash balances. So down here again, we are trying to say that cash underscore data is equal to cash underscore data dot group by. So we want to group by category and ledger, and then we also want to sum the grouped data. And then down here we are saying that cash underscore data dot log in square bracket cash and cash equivalent at start is equal to cash underscore data, then YTD actual, then comma total underscore last year. So we are summing the numerical values. So we are putting all these column labels within double square brackets, then dot sum. And then down here we are saying that cash, just a moment, cash underscore data is equal to cash underscore data dot replace. So we are replacing the null values with cash and cash equivalent at start. So let me just print cash underscore data. We see what we have. We'll run that code. So the period is period 1. Then the financial year in review is 2017. So cash. So this is what we have. Just try to highlight to avoid any confusion. So this is what I've just printed. So we have YTD actual and total last year. So total last year we don't have values. We did not have opening balances because the year 2015 we did not have any data. So the opening balance for 2016 was 0, and then the closing balance for the year 2016 was these values here, which are now the opening balance for the year 2017. So when we come down here, we are saying that now we want to print level 2, level 5 CF, but before then we just want to pick we only want to pick these values for the last row. So the last row figures is what we want to pick. We are saying that level 5 underscore CF is equal to pd.concat level 4 underscore CF, then cash underscore data.tail. So .tail means that you want to pick the last row of this data frame where we have the cash and cash equivalent at start. Then axis is equal to 0, then reset index level 5 underscore CF to drop. So we are dropping index. So let me just try to print level 5 underscore CF. So print in bracket level, it's level 5 coming out, level 5 underscore CF. So we want to print this and see what we have. So we are almost through with our cash flow. Period 1, the financial year reviews 2017. So now you can see level 5 CF, but let me just scroll up. So this is cash and cash equivalent and start. So these are the values. For the total last year we have 00, and then the YTD actual we have 624,204. So now we need to move on with the closing balances. So with the closing balance, we are saying that ending cash is equal to pd.dataframe bracket pd.concat. So you want to concatenate a level 5 underscore cf.tail. So you want to pick at the last row down here, the last row of this data frame with the level 4 underscore cf dot tail. Level 4 underscore cf dot tail is where we had net cash and cash equivalent from both working capital changes, financing activities, investing activities. So we want to get the total of that value and concatenate with the level 5 underscore dot tail. So the last the last row of the data frame, and then down here we are saying that ending cash dot log in square bracket ending cash is equal to ending cash in double square bracket YTD actual comma YTD last year. So we want to sum the values of these two data frames, and then we are saying that ending cash is equal to ending cash dot replace. So we are replacing the null values with ending cash, and then resetting index at the same time. So we are saying down here that ending cash is equal to ending cash dot drop. So we are dropping the index that we just reset up here, and then this the last line of code. Now we are having that level 6 CF. So level 6 CF is equal to pd.concat level 5 CF. We are concatenating level 5 CF with the ending cash cash balance dot tail. So the cash balance dot tail is the value that we've just gotten up here after concatenating the two data frames. So let's see what we have as level 6 CF. So let's print this. So I will print this data frame, see what we have. So the period is 1, financial year in reviews 2017. So this is our last code of the data frame, and this is the printout. So you can see down here we have under YTD actual closing balance for cash is 229,987.17, and then the same applies to total last year, which is 624.204. And when you check closely, you can see we have the closing balance for last year is the opening balance for the current financial year. And again, now we need to compare compare the closing balances with what we have in our current in our balance sheet. So we need to also run our balance sheet. So again, I will go up here, run the code for balance sheet. Let me see if I have balance sheet. So what I do, let me just print in bracket level 4 underscore BS. So this will print the balance sheet, and then let me just try to create a space between the two. So here I will create a dash, and just trying to use the escape characters to create space between the two data frames. So when I run this code now to see what we have, so we have level 4 underscore BS. So this one should be in small letters. So I will run the code again. The period is 1, and the financial year is 2017. So this is our balance sheet, and we also have cash flow. So now what we need to compare is if the value the values for our current assets. Will rather in terms of cash at bank or cash in hand is tying with the closing balances of our cash flow. So for the first so when we check for just a moment. So here when we check for total last year, let's start with our cash flow. So what we have here, we have these two values. The two values for this for the first one is for the current financial year. This one's for the current financial year, and the second one is for last year. So we need to compare these two values with what we have in our balance sheet. And when you check down here, this value here for 629,989.17 is equivalent to what we have down here. When you add these two values, you should get 629 987.16. So this one is giving us 0.16, but this one is because of the rounding of numbers, because these have been rounded to 2 decimal places. So when you add them, they should give us the exact figure. The same applies to when you come down here. These two values, this value for 624,204, 624,204. When you add these two values here, I should be getting 624,204.44. 224,204.44. So the same is what we have up here. So our cash flow is tying with what we have in our balance sheet. So ladies and gentlemen, that was all about cash flow, and we've compared the two values of the ending closing balances with what we have in our balance sheet and their time. So all is good as far as cash flow is concerned. But before I call it a day, I just wanted to mention that what we've done is just to come up with the cash flow, but we've not created we've not created the schedules. So when you check on this data frame, we don't have this column for the schedule. The schedule is not there because first we need to create notes to financial statements. Then after creating the notes to financial statements is when we'll map the schedules with this the data frame, so that we can when we export to Excel, we'll get schedules and the notes to financial statement as well. So this column for the schedule we'll have it after creating these notes. First, in our next video, we'll create the notes to the financial statements. After creating these notes, so we'll map them with these financial statements for P and L Ltd, where we have the annex column, and then we'll also map them with balance sheet, where we have the schedule column. We'll map them with the a cash flow statement, where we have the schedule column. So apparently what we've done the ledger, we've done all these other columns except the schedule column, because we've not generated the notes to the financial statements. So when I give you a printout of what we have as our cash flow, so I can change this one to, let me change this one to level 5, other level 6 underscore CF. This should be level 6 underscore CF, level 6 underscore CF. Then I will comment out this. Rather, I will comment out this, so that this second one. Then I'll comment this other one. So I want to run this code, but this one now also will change to cf.xls to mean it is Excel format of printout. So now I can run this code again. We see what we have. So we'll use period 1. Period 1, the financial year is 2017. So now we want to see what we have in our Excel workbook as cash flow. So apparently this is what we have. This is our cash flow. Okay, these are the figures we have, or where we have our ending cash balances. We also have the investing activities. We have the current assets. We have the financing activities as well. Then these are the cash and cash equivalent. So now what remains is what we need to format it to make it look like what we have in this other workbook. So the formatting we'll do with the Excel writer, and then again we also need to create schedules, rather the notes to the financial statements, of which after creating is when we'll have this column for schedules or annex, which will be mapped with our financial statements. So far so good. So what we need to do next, what we'll do next, we'll be working on the notes to the financial statements, rather the schedules. And then we'll map all the schedules with the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. So thanks a lot for watching, and for those of you who have not subscribed, please do. For those of you who have subscribed, thanks a lot for your support. So please share your comments and so that we can learn together. So if you have a better way of how this should be done, please share as well. And let's meet on the next video when we are doing schedules or notes to the financial statements. So thanks a lot for watching.